I'm going to show you how to document school support, case management, and appointment logistics. Here we are in our school support client details page. So this would be the name of your school, followed by school support. So this is for when you are having conversations with the school regarding programming or their students in general. And so in order to create a school support appointment, you go through the same steps of creating an appointment and adding a new appointment. And school support is already defaulted on my client details page, so I have that here. And then I will put the time of my appointment to the nearest 5 minutes. So let's say it was a 15-minute conversation. And then you can mark it as telehealth because everything we're doing is telehealth, although you do not need the link for these appointments necessarily. Okay, so then you'll save your appointment. And then to do your note, you'll go in through the agenda screen, find your appointment, notice it has followed by the word mentoring as the location and has the right time and service. Then you'll add your progress note, just filling in the focus box. And if you're having a 15-minute appointment and you're just basically reviewed the progress of the students in the program with the counselor, that would be sufficient. If you're meeting for 30, 45, or 60 minutes because you're really going into a lot of detail about the program, you're talking about the logistics, you're trying to decide, when the best day is and going over all the rules, then you need to put all those things in your focus box because we have to justify why that is a 60-minute appointment or 45 or 30 and not just a quick 10 to 15-minute touching base with the school. So that's what goes in this focus box here. So you're just describing. You don't have to say the names of the individuals in the meeting, but you can say their roles. Okay, so then you'll save an e-sign just like you would any other appointment. All right, so that is, and I'm not going to do that because I don't want to have to cancel it. So that is documenting school support. So another type of appointment that you are going to document, and there's 3 different ways to document it, is case management. Case management is what happens when you are meeting with either school personnel, or you are meeting with caregivers about one particular student. So the way you'll document that is, first of all, let's say you're meeting with caregivers about a student in particular. You're giving them your weekly summary or you're arranging, services and you're having conversations with them. All right, that is case management. So you go to the child. So this is my child detail, and I'm going to set up an appointment. And I am going to call it case management. So my service type default is telebehavioral health mentoring. So I need to get rid of that one and put case management. You can only have one service type per appointment. So always make sure there is one in there and that it is only one in there. So then I'm going to set up the default time, making sure my appointments are not going to overlap of what I had my other appointment to be. And save, find the agenda. Okay, so I see it in there. I've got my times. They're not overlapping. I'm going to add my progress note in the same place, focus box. Same rules apply as school support notes. If it's a quick one, quick summary, you don't have to write a whole lot. If it is a long meeting or you're initially explaining the program, then you're going to put more detail, talk about more topics, which warrant the longer meeting. You're going to save an e-sign the same way. So that's case management for the student in their file with the family caregiver. Now, what will happen occasionally is that you will have case management with school personnel, and so you will enter case management, in that case, the same way under school support. You'll create the appointment, fill in the focus box. This time you'll say you talk to the counselor. Now, another time that you will document case management for a student in a place other than that student's account is if we do not have a consent for that student. Case management is something we can get, it's billable for you, and we get to bill our funders for it. So we want it, but we have to document it in Theranest. If we don't have a consent because you've just explained the program to a caregiver, then the place we document it is in the school support account of the school that recommended or referred the student. So you'll go through the same process in the school support account, and you will say that you spoke with the family about the program and probably the details. Same thing in the focus box. So, but what if you have a student who doesn't have a consent, and is not referred by a school? They are a client who is like, they called us for mentoring. That's called a self-referral. We also have a generic client called self-referred mentoring. Self-referred mentoring is kind of like the school support account for clients that just come from the community, not one of our partner schools. So self-referred mentoring is where you will document case management for students that you are doing an intake. And to give you an example, right now, Kathy is doing our intake for us. So she is having conversations with families and giving them the intake process. And you can see her conversations range anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the family. And so she has created appointments. And the way she describes those, I'm going to open one where she has her note complete. So what she does in the focus box is she talks about what she did. She completed the intake referral. She provided the program information with the mother of a second grader in the Lindbergh School District. They are St. Louis County residents. So that's important because we cannot bill our CSF main funder for participants who are not St. Louis County residents. So she documented that here. So if we have to go back, we will know that. So that's case management for community referred students who do not have a consent yet. Once they get consent, what Kathy does, which is actually pretty slick, I think, is that's why she doesn't sign them right away, because if she gets the consent back, what she does is she opens the appointment. This is a great idea. And then what she does is she changes the name of the client, and she puts the client as, let's say, John Doe, whoever that is, and then she saves that appointment. So she changes the appointment. That automatically puts the appointment, attaches it to the student who has a consent. So she does that once she gets the consent back, as long as it's in the same month. Okay, that was kind of a lot. That's why this is all on page 13 and 14. One last thing we didn't talk about is what to do. How do we document all of that back and forth time that it takes before we actually get to have a conversation? This is leaving voicemail messages or sending out email blasts, the going back and forth that really is nothing but the logistics of an appointment. That's called appointment logistics. It's a spot on your timesheet. We have to verify that we're doing that in order to get funding for it. And we're doing that through case notes. So if you are, let's say this is an actual client, if you are doing that, go back and forth, just setting up appointments. Some clients, you have to do a lot more of that than others. The way you document that is not as an appointment, but you will document that under notes. And then from notes, you'll go to contact log. Because then you will add a note, and then basically the time is already there for you. If you do it right away, you just basically say what you did, left a voicemail about setting up an appointment. And then phone, who was it for, save. You don't need to sign it. You can just save it. And then, because it tells you what staff already. So you do that for the client when you are leaving voicemails for an existing client. If you are doing that for a client that has been referred by a school but does not yet have a consent, then you'll do the same thing under the school, notes, contact log, create a note. If the client is a self-referred client, but you don't have the consent, then you do that as note, contact log, and then you will write the notes under the contact log. So those are all of the ways of documenting case management, school support, and appointment logistics.